is not just the beginning of your day, it's the birthplace of your reality. And the first person you need to hear from in the morning is you. Before the emails, before the texts, before the noise of the world starts shouting at you, you must speak to your day before your day speaks to you. If you don't command your morning will command you. I'm not talking about some vague affirmation or whispering sweet nothings into the air. I'm talking about a declaration spoken with power, intention, and authority. Because your words are not just noise, they are tools. They are seeds, they are weapons. And whether you realize it or not, every morning you're either sowing power or sowing poison. You see, people walk around wondering why their lives feel stuck, why their business won't grow, why their relationships keep breaking down, but they haven't checked the language they've been speaking over themselves. You want transformation? Start with the tongue. Because your words will shape your world before your hands ever touch it. Let me ask you a question. What are you expecting today? Because you don't get what you want, you get what you expect. Desire is cheap, expectation is different. When you wake up and declare everything is working for my good today, when you say I walk in wisdom, favor, and abundance, when you boldly proclaim I am the kind of person who attracts opportunity, who executes at a high level, who hears clearly and moves precisely, you're not hoping anymore, you're expecting. And expectation is the breeding ground of miracles. Most people let their thoughts stay locked in silence, and you know what happens? Fear grows in silence. Doubt thrives in silence. But faith is loud. Faith speaks. Faith says, even though I don't see it yet, I'm walking like it's already done. That's the kind of energy that moves heaven and shakes the earth. That's the kind of energy that turns ordinary people into history makers. But here's the key. You have to stop identifying with your past and start declaring your future. Don't just say what you're doing, declare who you're becoming, because your identity is the thermostat of your life. You will never out-earn, outgrow, or outperform the picture you have of yourself in your own mind. So if you want to change your outcomes, you've got to upgrade your identity. And the fastest way to do that is through daily declaration. Speak it until your subconscious catches up. Speak it until your nervous system believes you. Speak it until your actions align. And listen, this isn't about hype. This is about principle. When you do this every single morning, not once, not twice, but for 7 days, you'll start to notice a shift, not just in how you feel, but in how you think, in how you walk, in what you tolerate, in what you attract. Why? Because consistency compounds. One declaration might spark something, but 7 days can reset your whole mindset. 7 days can break patterns, realign vision, and build momentum that moves mountains. So I dare you, I challenge you, wake up tomorrow and speak, not as a victim, not as a survivor, but as a creator. Speak life, speak truth, speak power, and do it every day for 7 days. I promise you, your mind will change. And when your mind changes, your life won't have a choice but to follow. Most people wake up and instantly become reactors. They grab their phone, check their messages, scroll through social media, look at the news, boom. They're already on defense, already overwhelmed, already playing catch up. The day has spoken to them before they've had a chance to speak to it. And the problem with that is simple. If you let the day speak first, it sets the tone. It writes the script. It chooses your emotional state before you've chosen your intention. But there's a higher way to live, a more powerful way to think. The people who move differently, who operate at a higher level, they don't start their day by reacting. They start by declaring. They don't wake up and wait to see how the day's going to treat them. They wake up, look that day in the face and say, here's who I am. Here's what's going to happen. Here's how I show up. You've got to speak to your day like it's listening, because it is. The spiritual, mental, emotional, and even physical momentum of your day is listening for instruction. The problem is, too many people are silent when they should be speaking. And what you fail to command, you allow to control you. When you speak to your day, you're not just saying words into the air. You are aligning your spirit, mind, and body. You are choosing the frequency you're going to operate on before anyone else gets a chance to influence it. It's not about pretending that everything's perfect. It's about choosing your position, choosing your mindset, choosing your expectation. You're saying, no matter what's coming today, I've already decided how I'm going to show up. Imagine a general going to war without giving orders. That's what most people do with their mornings. They roll into the battlefield of life without a plan, without instruction, without authority, and then they wonder why they feel overwhelmed and out of sync. But when you speak first, when you give your day direction, you set the tempo, you create the rhythm, you build momentum. The rest of the day starts responding to you instead of the other way around. This is not hype, it's principle. Speak to your day before it speaks to you, and watch how it obeys the sound of your voice. Your words are not random. They are not harmless. They are not just sounds passing through the air. Your words are blueprints, spiritual, mental, and emotional architecture. Every time you speak, you're either building or breaking, planting or poisoning, releasing power or inviting pressure. Whether you realize it or not, your life is following the path paved by your own mouth. Anyway, the world you're living in today was shaped, at least in part, by the words you spoke yesterday. That's not just poetic, that's principle. Because words carry frequency, they carry intention, they carry vision. And the more consistently you speak a certain way, the more your mind, your body, and your environment begin to shift to match it. If you keep telling yourself, I'm tired, I'm overwhelmed, I can't catch a break, guess what? Your subconscious will get to work proving that statement true. Your body will feel it, your energy will match it. Opportunities will slip past you because your mind is too busy aligning with limitation. But flip it. Start declaring, I'm focused, I'm favored, I'm prepared for what's next. And your system starts to respond, your perspective shifts, your posture changes. You begin to walk like someone who's expecting breakthrough, not barely surviving. And that's not faith, it's faith. It's ownership. It's using your God-given authority to co-create your reality. See, most people use their words descriptively. They just say what is. I'm broke, I'm stuck, I'm anxious, I'm not good enough. And guess what? Life keeps handing them more of the same. But the most powerful people, those who operate in mastery, they use their words prescriptively. They don't just describe the current situation, they prescribe what's coming next. They don't wait for things to look different before they speak differently. They speak differently so that things start to become different. And this isn't just about positive thinking, it's about creative thinking, intentional speaking, because your brain is listening to you. Every word you say is reinforcing a belief or breaking one. Every declaration is telling your mind what to expect. And over time, those words become the frame for your future. If you want a different outcome, start with a different conversation, and one that begins in your own mouth. Stop speaking what you don't want. Stop rehearsing what went wrong. Start shaping what's next with words that carry weight, truth, and power, because when your words change, your world has no choice but to follow. Wanting is passive. It's soft. It's emotional. Anybody can want something. Wanting doesn't move mountains. It doesn't shift atmospheres, and it certainly doesn't create results. Expectation, though, that's different. Expectation is active. It's spiritual authority in motion. It's not, I hope this happens. It's, I'm preparing for it because I know it's on the way. There are people right now stuck in a cycle of frustration, not because they lack desire, but because they lack expectation. They want better finances, want healthier relationships, want more peace, more clarity, more purpose. But deep down, they don't actually expect to have it. And life doesn't deliver based on what you hope for. It delivers based on what you believe for. Expectation changes your energy. It shifts how you enter rooms. It affects how you speak, how you carry yourself, how you respond to problems. When you truly expect something good, something powerful, something aligned with your calling, you move like it's already yours. You stop begging and start preparing. You stop trying to prove yourself and start walking like someone who's already approved. You see, when you expect nothing, even the best opportunities can look like threats. But when you expect increase, favor, and alignment, You start recognizing the opportunities that others are blind to. You see doors where others see walls. You see timing where others see delays. That's the difference. Expectation is a lens. You can have two people in the same situation, one with expectation, one without, and their outcomes will be radically different. Why? Because one is waiting to see what happens, and the other is shaping what happens with their focus, their faith, and their forward motion. Here's the truth. You rise to the level of your identity and the ceiling of your expectation. If you keep expecting struggle, you'll find it. If you expect lack, it'll show up. But if you start expecting progress, wisdom, divine appointments, clarity, you'll start to see it everywhere, not because the world changed, but because you did. So don't just want it. Don't just wish for it. Expect it. Expect the breakthrough. Expect the idea. Expect the favor. Expect the room to open and the right people to meet you there, because the moment your expectation shifts, the game changes. Faith is not quiet. Faith doesn't sit in the corner waiting for perfect conditions. Faith doesn't whisper and hope someone notices. Faith speaks boldly, clearly, out loud. It declares what hasn't happened as if it's already done. It calls things that are not as though they were, not because it's ignoring reality, but because it understands that truth isn't limited to what you can see. Fear, on the other hand, loves silence. It thrives in hesitation. It grows in the dark places of your mind where no words are spoken, no declarations are made, no truths are reinforced. Fear is the voice that stays quiet when opportunity knocks. It's the inner hesitation that says, what if I fail? And never says anything beyond that. But faith steps in and says, what if I win? Every time you open your mouth to speak life, you're putting faith in motion. You're placing your confidence in something greater than circumstance. You're telling your mind what to focus on. You're giving your spirit something to align with, and you're pushing fear out by filling the space with truth. Because when faith speaks, fear has no room to grow. It gets drowned out by the sound of your authority. There's a reason why fear wants to shut you up, because it knows your words carry power. It knows that when you begin to speak what you believe, not just what you see, momentum begins to build. Fear wants to keep you second guessing, quiet and stuck. But the moment you speak with faith, you activate vision. You set things in motion that were lying dormant. You stop reacting and start creating. The battlefield is in the mind, but the victory is often claimed with your mouth. It's not enough to think better. You have to speak better. Thoughts stay internal. Words release energy into the world. They send a signal. They draw things toward you. Faith that is silent is often faith that is fading. But faith that speaks, that's the kind that moves mountains. And here's the power move. You don't wait until you feel full of faith to start speaking. You speak until you feel it. You speak through the doubt, through the fear, through the discomfort, because the moment you open your mouth and let faith out, you take back authority over your emotions, over your day, over your situation. So stop letting fear take up space in your silence. Open your mouth. Speak with clarity. Speak with conviction. Speak with vision, because faith doesn't sit still. It speaks. And when faith speaks, everything starts to shift. Most people try to change their outcomes by changing their behavior, but they never touch the deeper issue, identity. They focus on the surface, new habits, new goals, new routines. But if your identity doesn't change, all those efforts eventually collapse under the weight of who you still believe you are. You don't rise to the level of your intentions, you rise to the level of your identity. You cannot outperform the story you tell yourself about yourself. If deep down you still see yourself as someone who's broken, not enough, not qualified, not worthy, you will sabotage every opportunity that tries to contradict that belief. You'll push away the very things you say you want because they feel incompatible with the image you hold of yourself. That's not failure, that's identity conflict. But the moment you change how you see yourself, everything else starts to shift. You don't just act different, you are different. You don't have to force discipline when you see yourself as a disciplined person. You don't have to chase validation when you know your worth. Identity drives behavior, and behavior produces outcomes. So if you want a new outcome, you start by becoming the kind of person who naturally produces it. And how do you change identity? You speak it, you declare it, you reinforce it daily, not with wishful thinking, but with intentional affirmation of who you are becoming. You say it before you feel it. You say it until it starts to sound normal. I am focused. I am creative. I am a finisher. I am a leader. I am the kind of person who builds wealth, walks in favor, moves with purpose. These aren't just words. They are identity statements. And your mind starts aligning to whatever you repeat with belief and consistency. This is why daily declarations matter, not because they magically bring success, but because they transform you into the kind of person who naturally attracts and sustains success. You stop trying to fix everything on the outside and start rebuilding from the inside. And that kind of change sticks. It's not temporary, it's transformational. So if your outcomes aren't changing, stop looking at your to-do list and start looking at your self-concept. Ask yourself, who do I believe I am? Because that belief is the blueprint. And the moment you upgrade it, the rest of your life starts to rise to meet the new standard. Change your identity, and the outcomes will have no choice but to follow. The power of consistency is often underestimated, but it's the silent force that shapes everything in life. You see, most people are looking for overnight success, for a shortcut to their goals, a magic moment where everything clicks into place. But that's not how true growth works. It's not about doing one big thing, it's about doing the right thing, consistency over time. Consistency is the compound interest of success. It's the small, seemingly insignificant actions repeated day after day that add up to massive, life-altering results. The truth is, most people give up before they see the results of their efforts. They try something for a week or two, and if it doesn't show instant success, they quit. They fail to understand that success is built like a snowball. It starts small, slow, almost unnoticed. But if you keep rolling it, consistently feeding it with effort, discipline, and focus, eventually it becomes unstoppable. What seemed like a tiny action, something that didn't feel significant at first, becomes the foundation for monumental transformation. Imagine if you took one small step every day toward your goal. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be huge. But as long as you keep showing up day after day, those small steps start to build a momentum that's impossible to stop. You might not see it immediately, but you'll look up one day and realize how far you've come. That's the magic of consistency. It works quietly in the background, compounding your efforts until the results are undeniable. And the thing is, consistency doesn't just apply to the big goals. It's just as powerful in the little things. It's in the habits you form, the thoughts you reinforce, the actions you repeat. It's in the little decisions you make every single day. The choice to get up early, to make that phone call, to write that email, to do the thing that matters even when you don't feel like it. Over time, those choices compound. They build a life that reflects your consistency, your commitment, and your resilience. Here's what I want you to remember. It's not the one big breakthrough that changes everything. It's the steady, unshakable commitment to showing up day after day, no matter what. The results don't show up immediately, but when they do, they come in ways you could never have predicted. Consistency compounds. It's the small daily actions repeated over time that will ultimately define your success. So don't quit before the magic happens. Stay consistent, trust the process. The compound effect will work its magic if you just keep going. So here's the truth. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have, and the way you shape it will directly shape your reality. If you want to change your life, you must first change how you speak to your day, how you speak to yourself, and how you speak about your future. Speak with authority. Speak with expectation. Speak with faith. Your words shape your world. So speak life into it every single day.